to what you suggested does not suggest you are a suspect.
I take it.
Okay.
I just want to understand that does this mean that I'm not a suspect in any of the SIU?
I don't know. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I do not want to engage in something that I do not know also.
No. What we are dealing with is a firm claim you made at 93, and I'm saying the document you put forward does not support that. Having done that, I'm going to invite you to then, as the Regulation 10.6 notice required of you, to speak of your relationship with Mr. Maumela on the one hand, Mr. Karim on the other hand, or collect both, if that is how it is.
Even though I might be a suspect.
In what?
Matlala, you've accepted that you haven't been interviewed or told that you're a suspect in arising from these documents that you were relying on. You may well be a suspect in other matters, but right now the discussion is you answered at paragraph 93 that there are documents from which it appears or it will show that you are a suspect. You've just accepted to Ms. Sello that on this document at least, the one that you were relying on, you are not a suspect, but also you've not been approached by anyone that in law enforcement it has to be that told you that you're a suspect in these matters. I think it is fair that you should be then now required to answer now that we have established on the document that you relied on that you are in fact not a suspect, that questions that come from or relating to the 10.6 should be answered about your relationship with Mr. Maumela and Mr. Karim.
Before you leave Annexure A, Ms. Matlala, when you were first here, the Commission asked you about companies that you own or have interest in, and you only mentioned 3. But now in item 37 and 38 of Annexure A, there are 2 other companies that you did not mention. And I had this engagement with you. You mentioned Medicare 2024, you mentioned CAT VIP, the security company, and then you mentioned Black AK Trading Supplies. You did not, in your engagement with me, mentioned Kabeng and Falcon Car Trading. Why is that? Do you have interest in these companies, and why did you not mention them when I first asked you to clarify this issue?
Because those companies are deregistered.
They are deregistered?
Yes.
When were they deregistered?
A long time ago. I don't remember when, long time ago.
Because this judgment or this order of the tribunal is dated 25 September 2025, and it suggests to me that they still existed in September 2025.
Yeah, but with a quick search, we can verify that these companies are being registered, Commissioner.
All right, thank you.
May I, Mr. Matlala, with regard to the point that your entities are listed in Annexure A, you are therefore being investigated. May I ask to take you to page 16? The same, the paragraph 2.13 of the tribunal's order. The tribunal's order. Yes. You still have it close by.
From 2.13, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perhaps instead of going
page 15.
Let's start at page 15.
Yes.
The implicated respondents and all of the other 39 entities and their respective directors, members, trustees mentioned in Annexure A are directed to make a full and frank written disclosure under oath of all the property and or assets and of all funds standing to their credit. Now here's what I want to engage you on. In respect of which the implicated respondents, so even though Annexure A may go beyond entities owned only by the respondents, and it includes, for example, your entities, but the part that I'm emphasizing says, in respect of which the implicated respondents, of which you are not one, or any of them, still the respondents, are the registered or common law owners, have beneficial ownership, right, title, and interest, or some other type of real right therein. So the contemplated ownership, beneficial ownership, right, title, or interest may be in your entities, for example. That is how I read this. And it does not translate to you being investigated. So it's still about the respondents. The focus is only on what interest they may have in other people's entities. Do you see what I mean? This is just to reinforce the point made by Commissioner Baloyi, which is that nothing here suggests that you yourself are being investigated. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Then, having disposed of that, let's turn back to our paragraph 93 of your supplementary statement, and we do so with reference to the Regulation 10.6 notice issued. The Regulation 10.6 is the first document in your main statement file. And you recall that, as we did with General Sibia, you were required to explain your history and your relationship, direct or indirect, with certain persons, and they included Mr. Maumela and Mr. Karim. So can we then, in the context of 2.2, deal with your relationship with Mr. Maumela?
Chairperson, sorry to interrupt. I'm wondering if yourself and my learned friend has taken into account the provisions of Section 332 of the Criminal Procedure Act, which deals with one being an accused person or a suspect by virtue of your company or the entity of which you are a director, and in relation to your directorship in respect thereof too. So that, by virtue of that fact, you are also, and you can also, and he's also vis-a-vis this particular order, based on what he said, a suspect in that particular matter.
No, I don't agree with that, Ms. van der Heever. I do not agree with that. This concerns property interests, beneficial interests of the respondents. And the point is that those respondents may have interests in entities owned by other people. So the order relates only to their interests in those other entities that are not theirs. That's all it is about. I've not read what this is about, but I'll just assume perhaps that it was about the seizures that usually emanate from that entity, the tribunal. So it makes sense that the tribunal would be interested in, fine, we got hold of these Lamborghinis and this and that, but what other properties do you own? Do you own any beneficial interest in other people's companies? The focus of the tribunal will only be on what the respondents own. And that they may own that in someone else's entity does not make that entity a respondent or subject to investigation. There's a leap in logic in suggesting just because I want to know whether Ms. van der Heever has a beneficial interest in Commissioner Baloyi's company, then Commissioner Baloyi's company becomes involved in whatever it is they require information from you about. I do not understand that logic.
Chairperson, maybe I've had the benefit of reading through the actual application and the affidavits that was, because I went to the trouble after we were here to get those. Maybe if I can suggest, I see it's almost 10 o'clock.
But in any event,
I can,
yes.
Because it refers specifically in the order to the set affidavit that relates to the issues of the Maumela syndicate that is discussed there. As I said, I don't want to place facts before you without just going to refresh my memory again on that. That's why I'm asking, maybe it would be convenient.
In any event, what should cut across all this, Ms. van den Heever, is to avoid us debating issues in general. If there is a specific crime with regard to this, in respect of which Mr. Matlala is asserting the privilege, let that be specific, please, in the interest of time.
And that's
Otherwise, the day will go by without us covering any meaningful ground.
And that's exactly what I'm going to endeavor to do for you during the tea adjournment, to make sure that that is brought to the attention. The client, as chairperson knows, is a layperson. He doesn't know the niceties of the law when it comes to these issues. So please afford me the opportunity to pull those up and have a discussion with the client.
But whatever you pull up, bear in mind, because a lot may be said, affidavits in proceedings may go far and wide. Bear in mind that what I have referred to in this order, the tribunal's order, shows in so many ways that this is not about Mr. Matlala's entity. It's about someone else owning something in Mr. Matlala's entity. Bear that in mind. So whatever affidavit or whatever you'll come back to us about should not change that, I would imagine. Thank you very much.
Ms. van den Heever, I think the other thing, whatever you're planning to do during an adjournment, is to remember that Mr. Matlala has filed an affidavit in which he has set out why the defenses and the facts, supposedly, that he relies on for claiming the privilege, that is done and dusted. You don't get another chance from the bar to say there's that other document or that other fact that we didn't put before you. We took a break to allow you to bring an application in which you were going to plead facts on which you rely for Mr. Matlala to support Mr. Matlala to support his claim for the immunity or for privilege that he's seeking. You don't get to do that by going now as counsel to go and pull up other documents and then put them from the bar. He had plenty of opportunity, and we are past that. We did that yesterday. We have read your affidavit. There's been an answer and a full answer to that. Submissions were made about it yesterday. We are past that, and I think you know that. I expect that you know that he had the opportunity in the affidavit, and he made his best case in the affidavit, including in that paragraph 93. You don't get to have a second bite of the cherry from the bar. You don't.
I hear what you say, Commissioner. We will deal with that issue when we return. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. So then this is where we lend Mr. Matlala. The document you put up yesterday, which is this SIU order, does not in any manner suggest that you are a suspect, as you sought to testify, and that therefore there is no right for you to assert in relation to a relationship you have with Mr. Maumela and or Mr. Karim or both. So I will then invite you, let's deal with Mr. Maumela. Please provide details of the relationship you have with him, the nature of the relationship, when it commenced, and then we take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to ask you first the question, if you will allow me. Just because I failed to prove, which I take it, what the chairperson said, that it does not prove that I'm a suspect, and I take it. I failed to prove that. So does it mean that entirely I am not a suspect just because I failed to prove that I'm a suspect, or I might be a suspect? I'm saying this because I do not want to waste the Commission's time. So I would prefer that if we do, I'll continue to comment about Maumela's relationship with him. However, I want to understand that whatever that I think is under investigation, do you still expect me to comment on that? Because I couldn't prove that I'm a suspect, though I know from what I heard from different sources that I'm a suspect.
Mr. Matlala, as I understand the position, you sought to demonstrate that you are a suspect by producing the document that Ms. Silo took you through, and including us for that matter. We have also demonstrated, and you now accept,
Yes, I do.
that that document does not show that you are a suspect. You are not barred. This commission is not barring you from demonstrating that for C, D, and E reasons, I am actually a suspect, and based on that, I'm claiming my right to privilege. So do not understand what we engage you on just now. Do not understand it to mean that we say you are forever and ever not a suspect with regard to these issues, the issues under discussion now. We are not. But we are saying what you produced as proof of you being a suspect does not bear your claim out. Do you follow? I hope that answers you.
That I take and understand.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. With that understanding then, Mr. Matlala, can we start discussing your relationship with Mr. Maumela? Like I said, it would assist if you began it when you started with when that relationship began, and you define or you describe that relationship up to date. Thank you. Then we'll take it from there.
Yes, I will. I think that I first met Mr. Maumela, it'll be around 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. 2015, 2016, somewhere around there.
Thanks.
And my relationship with him, it was because both we have passion for sports cars. So there is this restaurant that we both we used to frequent in that restaurant somewhere in Sandton. So we used to meet each other there, and then because I like this car, and then that's when we started our relationship, because of the love of cars.
So would it be fair then to conclude that you are friends with Mr. Maumela and you share a passion for sports cars?
I conclude that, yes.
Do you have any other relationship with him, including business relationship or any relationship that leads to any one of you benefiting financially?
Yes, we do.
Can you tell us about that?
We were, both of us, we were in the, I wouldn't say it's a tender, but it was, what is it called? Not a tender, but let's just say, for the lack of a better word, I'll say a tender, but it's not. Like when you get the RFQs, it's not a tender, it's something else. I don't know what they call it.
Well, call it an RFQ.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes, we used to do that together.
What?
Like a joint venture or something? In what form did you do it together?
Like, if I get an RFQ and then we'll have money, then we'll take that money and purchase. Maybe the RFQ was in my entity, and then we'll take that money that we put aside and buy the whatever is needed, and then we'll take the money back, and then including profit, put it aside, and then share the profits.
I don't know if you were talking about an RFQ, because then if you talk about investing money and sharing profits, it would suggest that we are beyond the RFQ stage. I understand an RFQ being a request for quotation.
Yes.
And this is where an entity submits a quotation in response to a public invitation, and then the quotation is successful or not successful.
Yes.
So in that process, until a determination is made, there are no profits to share as such.
Of course, yes.
So the RFQ does not provide.
Yes.
It's only if the quotation is accepted and then the award is made and the job executed that we can start talking profits.
Of course.
Okay. So now you say that the relationship you had with Mr. Maumela is that you would both invest and then share profits, and you say that with regard to an RFQ, having accepted then what is my understanding of an RFQ, would it be fair to say that you, following the submission of RFQs, you have been awarded certain public work from which you derived a profit?
Can you please repeat that question?
You indicated that both of you would invest and then derive profits. And you said so with reference to an RFQ. Now we have, since you and I agreed what an RFQ is, just a request for quotation, which may be accepted or rejected by the entity. We have reached that point, right? We agree. So
course,
now
yes.
I ask, is there any RFQ that was accepted on the basis of which you provided the work that was required or the goods that were required, from which you derived a profit that you shared?
Of course there was.
Which ones are those? Can you start listing them, please?
I can't. It's a plenty. I can't.
Okay, now which
Not
is...
that I don't want to. I'm saying is medical equipment, and then I do not. I will say a stethoscope, as for example, maybe quantity of the stethoscope, a different medical equipment.
Okay, let's do it differently. Let's talk about the entities that issued the RFQs. Which entities are those that you responded to and were successful?
I wouldn't know about his entities. I will only refer to my entities.
No, sorry, by entities, I mean, who issued the RFQ that you were successful
No,
in?
he will do it on his own, and I'll also do it on my own.
Mr. Matlala, the government entities that invited.
Or the government entity.
The government entities that invited.
I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's a Department of Health.
Okay. Now, is that the National Department of Health or Provincial Department of Health? If it is the latter, which provinces?
Gauteng.
So it's just the Gauteng Department of Health.
Yes, I think so.
Nothing national.
I'm not sure what I did national. I'm talking about what I know. I don't know.
I'm interested in when you remember we are
myself,
discussing
no.
your joint efforts here.
No, myself, I don't know anything about national.
Okay, so then in respect of the Department of Health, what did those RFQs require? If you could just, whatever you can recall.
Medical consumables?
Yes.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Now, when was the first RFQ? I'll take it that is an estimation on your part. Then when was the last?
I was not keeping, I don't know, let's say 2019, 2018.
2018, 2019.
2018 maybe.
Okay. Now, were there so many that you can't even recall whether there were 2, 3, 15, 25?
Yeah, there was quite a lot.
Where you were successful? I'm interested in the ones you were successful, not the efforts you made.
No, mine collectively for, I'll say for 3 years, they were under 5 million rands. So it's not a lot.
That's you
Yes.
quoting alone.
Yes.
I'm interested in you and Mr. Maumela.
No,
Remember
we are
that?
not. I think maybe I've explained this wrong. We
Okay.
are not in a joint. There is a money that is somewhere there. So whatever you get is yours. Whatever I get is mine. And then from that money that you borrowed, that's where you will, depending on how much you borrowed from that money. I'm not saying his companies I was benefiting from them or my companies I was benefiting from them.
Okay, let's...
The common thing that that because you said, was there any business that I did with him?
Yes.
I said, yeah, it's the money, but he will do his own thing and I'll also do mine on the side.
Okay, let's try it from this angle. Perhaps I asked whether you were involved in any business or business ventures. You said it's the money. Can you describe that, the nature of that business, of the money?
I think I just need to give you an example that I will say to you that just put 1 million and then I'll also bring 1 million.
Yes.
And then if you get your RFQs, you can take from that 1 million, depending on how much they want. You'll take 300,000. And on that, let's say you take 300,000, you go and buy whatever is needed for that from our money. And from that 300,000, and then when you bring it back, because of you've used the money, so it must come back with profit.
Okay, so do you create a pot of money where you both invest and from which you draw to individually respond to RFQs, or how exactly? I'm trying to understand how these transactions were happening, and please excuse me if I'm slow.
Commissioner, now we're going deep to the investigation that I was trying to avoid, but which I do not know whether I will be part of or not. However, for you to understand much better, I will say it's not like we've opened a neutral company and then have money in the bank for that specific purpose of this business. I will take it from, it will be money that maybe is depending on, it will be either in his account or mine. There was
you pooled, as in POOLED, you pooled funds together.
Yes.
And from those funds, if you got a contract, or if he got a contract, each one of you would then take money from the funds that you've pooled together for what's required at the initial stage of performing in terms of the contract you got. So you use a portion from those funds for that purpose.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, and then you say you then pay those funds back into the joint fund, if I may call it that. You pay that back, but you say you would have to pay it back with a profit, as I understand you. And don't nod, please.
No, sorry, I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh yeah, and how would the profit be worked out?
10% of whatever.
10% of what you took from the fund,
Yes.
or 10%
Yes,
of what you would get from the contract?
What you took from the funds, yes.
What you took from the fund.
Which then would lead me to the question, does that become a revolving fund, or is the fund dissolved at some point and you split profits that have been earned by quote unquote the fund? How exactly does it work?
I will, okay, I'm going to give an example again. I will say,
Yes.
maybe you are the supplier.
Yes.
We need to buy stock from your company. So we'll put money in your company. And then whatever we want to buy, we already have credit. So we'll take from stock from your company, and then you will tell us how much is left there. Then anyway, both of us will know how much is left, and then we'll keep on adding money to that account.
It's not exactly the answer you gave the chair, because you explained that
The profits will get them, yes.
Yes.
No, the profits won't go back to you because you are not part of the business.
How do you split them when you are jointly contributing to the pool?
I made an example earlier that I'll give an example that I've put 1 million into your account, which you are the supplier.
But in the example you make, I am not Mr. Maumela.
Not Mr. Maumela. You are not a supplier, meaning we buy stock from your company.
Yes.
Yes.
From the pool of funds that you and Mr. Maumela have raised.
Yes, but the money is in your account because you are the one who's supplying us with medical equipment. It's easy.
I'll never get it.
Ms. Matlala, you keep going back to, remember in your engagement with Chair, you said whatever profit you make,
yes,
you must put the money you took out of the seed account.
Course,
you must take it back, and then with 10%, because the interest you earned is 10%, you put it back into this account,
yes,
from which both of you can draw. Now, the question Advocate Sillo is asking you is that account where you put the money back with 10%, at some point do you dissolve it, or what do you do with it? Not what you pay to the suppliers that supply you with the equipment. The account from which you draw and you pay back money once you've made profit with the 10%. What do you do with that account? Do you dissolve it and share 50-50 whatever is remaining, or what happens with it?
Yeah, that's where the confusion is.
Yes.
The money is not in the account. The money is, we approach you, like I was trying to explain to Advocate Sillo, the Commissioner, I'm sorry, that we will approach you, and since you are the supplier who will supply us with medical equipment, that listen, buy the stock for us, and then the money will be in your account. So you know how much, you will know how much, we will know how much we have in your account. So let's say we have 1 million rands, and then I want a stock that is worth 300,000. So
what happens with the profit? I'm not concerned with what you have put in the
profit
account.
Yes, the profit. That's where I'm saying the profit comes back to us, not to the supplier.
I thought I understood earlier that you said there's money pulled into an account. Now, from how you're explaining, that's not the case. And I want to use a practical example. Hospital A wants still water, and they send out an RFQ, and you are interested to submit an RFQ. Can you just explain where does the money come from to buy from a supplier? Assume it's supplier X that has water. Just explain what you're telling us. Where does the money that gets paid to the supplier, where does it come from? And once you have supplied, of course at a premium, so you've got a profit, where does that go? How do you handle that? So start with, where does the money to pay the supplier for 6 bottles of water come from?
Okay, Commissioner, let me do this. Let me start from the beginning, and then just please stop me where you don't understand so that we can have progress. We want to supply, me and Mr. Maumela, we want to supply medical consumables to Department of Health. And we approach someone who's selling medical consumables. That person, we tell him that we will put up front, I'll give an example of 1 million rands. It's just an example. As an example. In his account. Should I get the RFQ first? Should I get the RFQ first? I'll go to that supplier and tell him, can I please give me stock that is worth 200,000? And he will give it to me. And because I took 200,000...
From where? Where do you take that 200,000 from?
The money is with the supplier, the person who's supplying medical consumables.
Where do they get it from?
Myself, and I said from the beginning that we will take 1 million, myself and Mr. Maumela, put it in the account of the medical supplier, the person who supplies medical consumables.
Uh-huh. So from both your separate accounts?
Yes.
Each, or you or him,
yes,
puts R1 million to the supplier.
Yes.
And then?
And
And then the supplier, then you win, you get appointed, the supplier gives you the equipment,
yes,
right?
yes.
And then the hospital, what happens with that medical equipment and the money?
I give an example that, let's say he gave me stock that is worth 200,000. And then when the hospital pays me back that, pays me the money, I have to take back the money that I borrowed, which is 200,000.
Mr.
Sorry,
Matlala.
you borrowed it from whom? I think we are...
It's not my, it's not borrowed, it's my money, of course.
Yes, I think that's what we are trying to understand, that we all understand, Mr. Matlala, that you must pay the supplier. We accept that. Take it, we understand that part. What is confusing, at least for me, is when you pay the supplier, there are 200,000.
Yes.
That money comes from your bank account
Yes.
or Mr. Maumela's bank account.
Yes.
That's what you're saying,
Yes.
right? So you get that. And then you supply it to the hospital. Let's say it's a hospital. You supply it to a hospital. And it's 300,000 now when you supply to the hospital. You bought for 200 and the hospital pays you 300.
Yes.
You now have 100 rand profit or 100,000 rand profit.
Yes.
How does that get dealt with? It comes into your personal account?
Of course, yes.
And then what happens?
And then Mr. Maumela will get 10% of that profit.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to suggest this, Mr. Matlala. I think you are doing this deliberately. You, less than 2 years ago, you won a 360 million contract from SAPS. And that, you can't have executed that contract with this understanding where we struggle to understand from you about money and transactions and suppliers, and you know, it cannot be. You are doing this deliberately so that we go round and round in circles. Yes, you are.
No, I'm
Yes.
not. Okay, can you please explain to me what part is it that you don't understand?
Where you suggest that you and Mr. Maumela put money in a supplier's account,
Yes.
and you buy for 200, why are you putting 2 million in that account when you are buying for 200?
But Commissioner, it's not a once-off thing. Remember, we are going to get stock from you now and then. So just in case it happens that at some point I don't have money, but I know that I've got credit in your company.
So you invest in a supplier's account up to 2 million, but your RFQ that you won is for 200,000. So the supplier holds that 800,000 until you get the next RFQ.
Yes.
Is that your business model?
Yes.
Okay. So when you get the 10% that you said you called the chair, you said that 10% goes to the supplier's account.
I didn't say that.
Okay, where does it go to?
To the 10%, it will go, we'll share the profit. I said that.
Where does it go to?
To myself and Mr. Maumela.
So how does it get there? Because as Commissioner Baloyi pointed out to you, that 200,000 worth of medical equipment you provide to a hospital or to hospitals, for which the Department of Health will pay you.
I'm talking about profit here. Profit.
You must be paid before you can make a profit. Surely.
Yes, I'm saying the profit. That is the money that goes to my account. The profit. I do not know what part. Maybe you're missing from me. I don't understand.
I'm just a mere lawyer. Maybe these business issues are above my pay grade. Chair, I see it's 2 minutes to 11. This might perhaps be the appropriate opportunity.
Let's adjourn and resume at 11:30.